huge turnover, and traditionally Southern would have scored there, and then Orange comes up with a big play, and we talked about the clock management issue. So it's a lot of things snowballing and not going Southern's way. So it's going to be really interesting to see how Southern comes out, how they respond, what adjustments they make. If I'm the offense coordinator and Coach Robinson, I'm saying, hey, we're going to run the zone read. We're not successful passing the football. As I said, whether it's the field conditions where we can't come out of our breaks, whether we can't grip the football, we've had tons of success running that zone read and make sure Jalen is able to pull the ball on some of it and give it some of it. And you do that and you give that kind of doubt into Orange's play as far as defensively. Orange, to their credit, has done a great job in their secondary. There haven't been any open passes, and the few ones they've caught, it's been a 3rd and long, 4th and long, where they're just kind of giving them coverage, playing soft, giving them about 5 yards, letting them catch the ball, coming up and make plays. So, but Orange has been here before. Orange has had the lead. You know, Orange has played great first half. They've done a good job through 3 quarters, but somehow that athleticism seems to take over in the 4th quarter. This year, I don't know if Southern has the athletes.
Yeah.
I think the quarterback and running back are fairly athletic, but on the perimeter, they've always had guys that can just outrun people, and I'm not sure if they have that. And, you know, all you have to do is look at Wake Forest. They're off to a 3-0 start.
Sure.
Kendall Hinton, who was so successful at Southern, is translating to that Division I level. And so you see him with those Division I athletes and say, okay, this kid was a special player. He can throw the ball. He can run the ball. He's just a difference maker. And you don't see those guys come along too many times in high school, no matter how dominant you are, whether you're a Southern, you're a Hillside, you're an Orange, you know, whoever you are. So
you were right, though, when it comes to – you're right in everything you said, of course, but you were right regarding Southern's athleticism. They certainly have some very tall players out there that are capable of things, but it certainly is unfair to compare Jalen Green to Kendall Hinton, so let's do it. Regardless, though, the thing that made Kendall so special was his ability to throw the ball so well on the fly, and that's just something that Jalen and he falls into the other 98% of quarterbacks that you'll see at this level. He can't do it that well.
Right, and he's got great feet. He's shown his athletic ability. He's a really good athlete, and you've seen that the few times he's carried the ball. But for whatever reason, and we were talking about this today with the other coaches, the Patriots are head and shoulders above anybody else in the NFL, because what they do is they take their quarterback and they adjust what they do to his skills. Mm-hmm. You know, and you saw Jacoby Brissett, who was a good quarterback at NC State. Well, they changed their whole offense because Brissett's now running, and they run some zone reads. They run some bootlegs. They run some jet sweeps. They go back to almost a college kind of situation where they had Garoppolo back there. They were still kind of doing the Brady-esque offense of throwing the ball down the field. So to me, if you're Southern, you got to say, hey, what is Jalen doing well tonight? He's doing a great job running the zone read. We're not being effective throwing the ball down the field. So I know we're used to throwing the ball down the field. We're used to throwing for 200 yards a game, but it's not working tonight. Let's just run the ball, and let's try to make big plays with our legs and not with our arm. But then you go with Orange, and Orange's job now is, hey, it's 21-7. Just like the Patriots did last night. We're going to run the ball. We're going to milk that clock. You're going to see Coach Mosier, as you mentioned, using those digital clocks and letting it tick all the way down to 3 and 4 and 5 seconds because they want to shorten this game. Their job, they're up 21-7. Hey, if we don't create or if we don't give the ball away, if we don't have turnovers, and we make them drive the ball down the field, the clock's at our advantage. They're the ones stressing. They're the one trying to get things back because they don't have that confidence. They're not the Southern of old with that aura of, hey, we're going to be able to score, 21, 28, 35 points in a matter of minutes. That they're kind of having to work a lot this year. And, and the shame of it we talked about a little bit earlier is that this game is played at the beginning of the season. I think it was the greatest thing when you got Southern coming in at 10-0, Orange coming in at 10-0 or 9-1 or whatever. And so the whole season builds up to these two Goliaths of the Big Eight playing each other for the conference championship in the last week of the season, which determines the playoffs. But now it's kind of anticlimactic when the first week of the season you're playing it and you're kind of like, okay, we're on cruise control because we've either lost the game or we won the game, so we're going to be second or first, depending on how this game turns out.
You were talking about the different plays they ran last night for the Patriots. They pulled out a tight end reverse or a tight end end around to Martellus Bennett. I mean, after that, I was betting on button hooks. I was betting on hook and ladders. They were doing a little bit of everything, but anything to adjust the play calling based on what you said to the personnel that you have. You don't have Tom Brady. You have a guy who's an undrafted rookie basically starting his first NFL game. They tailor their needs against one of the best defenses in the league and made them look like a Pop Warner team when you get right down to it. What do you think the Las Vegas odds would have been of Jackson Schmidt throwing for more yards in the first half tonight than Jalen Green?
I would have bet my house, my kids. I'd have bet there's no way that's going to happen because they haven't done it all year.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just
and here we are. Jackson Schmidt completed one pass, but was for 27 yards. Jalen Green is 3 of 8 for 14 yards and an interception. That is, if you had bet on that in Vegas, if they post odds in Las Vegas games, you would have bet on high school games. You would have cleaned up for life. Make no mistake about it. And Bravante Beasley, the best half, not only of his season, he nearly doubled his season rushing total in the first half. He came into the game with 178 yards rushing. He came into the game with that. He finished the half with 83 yards rushing on 9 carries. He had a stellar first half. And we've been seeing Morgan Pascal get more touches, and we've seen this offense go up very weak after a frankly weak showing against Person where they were the fine young cannibals of high school football. They had 2 hits and just used that to carry their lead. Basically, in that first game against Person, it was a screen pass to Beasley that worked, a screen pass to Wilson that worked for touchdowns, and Orange took the blowout from there. Tonight, it's been steady drives. It's been creating turnovers, which has been lacking, frankly, for Orange, and it's why Orange is ahead right now. We're going to pause here for one more 2-minute timeout before we start the second half. Jeff Hamlin and Chris Casey here with you live tonight from Spartan Stadium. It is Orange 21 and Southern Durham 7. 21-7 the Panthers lead on HillsboroSports.com.
The Carolina Hilltopper Foundation is helping to expand the game of lacrosse in North Carolina. Through their efforts, several local middle school programs have been able to join the lacrosse world, and travel teams have produced 8 Division I players and many Division II and III players, including several Orange and Cedar Ridge players enjoying successful collegiate careers. The fall season isn't far away. To register, visit hilltopperlax.com.
Our vehicles wind up in accidents from time to time, but where should you go if the exterior of your vehicle is damaged? Look no further than the folks over at Cardin's Body and Paint Shop, located at Highway 157 in Caldwell. For over 30 years, William, Greg, John, and Dennis have been taking care of the people in Caldwell and their vehicles whenever they've been caught up in a fender bender. So contact the folks at Cardin's Body and Paint Shop if your car winds up in an accident. Call 919-732-6611. That's 919-732-6611.
The Deer Pushers Association of America is a group dedicated to raise funds in support of educational programs, wildlife habitat enhancement and acquisition, and the preservation of the shooting sports and hunting tradition for future generations. They serve Northern Orange, Southern Person, and all of Central North Carolina. To learn more about the Deer Pushers Association of America, contact Skinny Laws or Seth King directly. The Deer Pushers Association of America, killing tomorrow's trophies today.
Count on the experts at Goss Pump Specialists for all your filtration system and well pump installation needs. Goss Pump Specialists has been serving Durham and surrounding areas for over 65 years. They install all types of well pumps and filters, including reverse osmosis systems. They also sell, install, and service a complete line of quality water softening and conditioning equipment, including chemical-free filters. Mention this ad, and you'll get $50 off your next project. Call Goss Pump Specialist at 919-477-3222. That's 919-477-3222. Or go online at gosswellpumpspecialist.com.
See, that's Slipknot. That's a better song. I think that sums up football better than Yes. You like Slipknot? Shane Thompson's a Slipknot fan. Not really a Slipknot fan. Not a Yes fan, though. You like Slipknot better than Yes? well, I don't know. It depends on what musicianship you like. When it comes to putting on a show, I mean, I've seen Slipknot live, and let me tell you, those guys put on a show. You might come out of it with a broken nose, but it's a show. Regardless, that's neither here nor there to what we have here tonight. Orange leading 21-7, and the Panthers will start off the second half with the football, or at least Southern will kick off to the Panthers, after Orange really went for acceleration, if you will, toward the end of that first half. After the punt return by Peyton Wilson of 65 yards that put Orange up 21-7, Orange had an onside kick. Southern, to begin with, was called for an unsportsmanlike conduct penalty, so Orange was kicking from the Southern 45. Orange went with an onside kick that appeared to catch Southern off guard, and Orange covered that almost perfectly, because the ball was touched by an Orange player 9 yards in front of the line of scrimmage. The problem is it has to go 10 yards for it to count, and so Southern wound up getting it back from their 36, but the Spartans were really held in check offensively in that first half. They had a total of 70 yards rushing, and they had 84 yards total offense overall. Mervante Beasley had 83 by himself.
And, Jeff, you kind of look at Southern coming into the game, they had a stretch against Hillside and Wakefield. Now, those are two pretty stout teams where they scored a combined 6 points, 3 in one game, 3 in another. They kind of opened it up a little bit with Northern Durham, whose program has kind of been up and down. They're coming in, they're 1-4. They scored 35 against them, so it's kind of hard to tell which team Southern really is.
This kick by Vidal will be taken at the 5, up to the 10, over the 15, to the 20, to the 25, over the 30, and down at the 35 goes Mervante Beasley. Mervante making a bid for this week's Hillsboro Sports Player of the Week for the Panthers, as that return is good for 30 yards, and Orange will open up 1st and 10 from its own 35, leading 21-7. Jackson Schmid completed just one pass in that first half, and I would dare say that pass to Cody Evans might have been the biggest play of the half.
And that was a beautiful ball, a great play call, a beautiful route. The ball hits him right in the hands. You couldn't have asked for anything better to happen on that play.
Cody Evans, far end of the field, about 5 yards from the right tackle, who is Shea Offman. And here's the toss. It's going to go to Beasley running to the right, and he's got room. Escapes the first pressure to the 40, to the 45, over the 50, 45, 40. It's a foot race, 20, 15, 10, 5, and Beasley dives into the end zone before he goes down. Touchdown! Touchdown, Orange! 65 yards, Mervante Beasley.
And, Jeff, it's kind of interesting. I'm sitting here watching the reaction of the Spartans kind of on the defense, and you don't see any emotion. You don't see guys getting mad. You see them kind of hanging their heads and kind of looking. You see Coach Robinson talking to his guys. And one thing we had talked about, and I'll give credit to Orange, they've been so successful running on that outside. And I'm sure, the coaches have talked and said, hey, if we're going to come out, we're going to exploit that outside. We're going to keep running 3 or 4 plays, and then we'll hit inside. 3 or 4 plays, hit inside. Let's get away from running that ball on 1st and 2nd down up inside. And they come out the very first play. They hit that outside run. A great seam right there. One nice little move. He breaks in the clear. And there again, the athleticism. Normally, he gets run down. He doesn't. Against Southern, you don't run that far to score a touchdown.
And here's the extra point by Francisco McKinley. This one splits the uprights. My heavens. Has Orange put Southern into submission here? Could it be? We're going to pause and find out. First of all, this time out, it is Orange now leading. It is 28-7. Orange with the lead on Southern on HillsboroSports.com.
Count on the experts at Goss Pump Specialist for all your filtration system and well pump installation needs. Goss Pump Specialist has been serving Durham and surrounding areas for over 65 years. They install all types of well pumps and filters, including reverse osmosis systems. They also sell, install, and service a complete line of quality water softening and conditioning equipment, including chemical-free filters. Mention this ad, and you'll get $50 off your next project. Call Goss Pump Specialist at 919-477-3222. That's 919-477-3222, or go online at GossWellPumpSpecialist.com.
We come back, a squib kit put down by Francisco McKinley. and it's dived on by a Spartan at the 37. And after a 65